Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. Well, after the roller coaster ride on Friday, Monday did see a consolidation phase yet again on the Nifty, a range-bound trade as well that eventually ended with a negative bias, about a 0.4% of a decline for the Nifty. Although the index managed to defend that 24,600 mark on the downside, but crossing 24,800 continues to remain a struggle. As of yesterday, we did see several pockets despite the muted run on the benchmarks. There was the real estate space that outperformed. The broader markets continued to outperform, and smaller pockets continued to see heavy buying, like railway space, for instance, and even some of the new age tech stocks like Swiggy continued to soar to record high levels. And brokerage houses reports are continuing to support Paytm, Swiggy on the higher side, and the targets releasing over there too. Several other stocks like Dixon Tech, Ultratech Cement, those were the ones that hit record highs as well. Now, as we move forward into today, the markets will also be reacting to the macro data numbers that came in. Remember, I just mentioned that towards the closing of the session as of yesterday, India's trade deficit has ballooned to a record high level to $37.8 billion, and this has been driven by weaker than expected export growth of negative 5% year on year. And what we've actually seen that the import growth has surged by 27% on a year-on-year basis. And what we've also seen is that gold imports have risen to an all-time high of $14.9 billion. And that really skewed the trade deficit to widening to all-time high levels as well. So the markets will be reacting to this. And of course, the overnight cues will be important from US and the Asian markets to track, which I will talk about in a bit from now. But good morning to all our viewers and good morning, Shail.
गुड मॉर्निंग लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन. मंगलवार है तो मंगल ही होगा. इस बात पर अगर हम लोग गांठ बांध लें तो आपको बहुत बढ़िया बढ़िया ट्रेड्स बाजार में आते हुए दिख रहे हैं. लेट्स स्टार्ट विद अ वेरी बेसिक. यू विल सी द चार्ट ऑफ द निफ्टी फॉर द लास्ट टू ट्रेडिंग सेशंस. लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, वी बीन कॉट इन अ रैप which is the Thursday's very volatile session and yesterday's weaker than expected kind of a move. Now, ahead of the two-day Fed meeting, remember tomorrow, which is Wednesday night, you will see the Federal Reserve coming up with its plans to cut interest rates and also give a commentary on how they see the US economy moving in 2025. Ahead of that, every single risk asset, especially on the equity space, is quiet. So there's nothing happening as far as major indices are concerned. Look at how the Nasdaq is on the up move. That is the only index that is in strength, and that's because another rate cut is going to come in tomorrow, and lower interest costs help tech companies which make a large component of the Nasdaq 100. This will be the third rate cut by the US Federal Reserve in 2024. Look at the Dow Jones Index. It's down for the 8th day in a row, and it's a very special moment for all those who specialize in buying pain, including me. We will suggest a very, very good Indian equity fund which buys top US 50 companies in S&P 500, and this is perhaps the right opportunity to look at. Apart from that, US 10-year yield is up for the 5th day in a row. You have a number of 4.397, which is again inimical to equity. Therefore, the Nasdaq and the Bank Nifty are most likely to remain sideways to weak unless you have a decision from the US Federal Reserve and their view on the US economy. In fact, all across the world, including Asia, you will see this kind of a flat rate coming in. There is absolutely no Q left in FIDI numbers. One day they buy, one day they sell, and in any case, a lot of volatility in indices can be explained by algorithmic trading, which is machines which are doing the work of men, because men are enjoying a pre-Christmas holiday in most parts of the Western world. Be that as it may, it is not as if that there is nothing to do. A lot of interest is building up in cash counters, especially those which are related to the budget. We've talked about PSU banks, we've discussed defense counters such as Mazgaon, we've talked about fertilizer companies, and of course, railway. Sakshi will give you details of two new orders that have come in into government railway companies, and they remain the top draw as far as traders are concerned. As far as trades are concerned, only delivery based trades, even for the short term, which is positional calls are working for better. Index is extremely volatile. Just stay away from Nifty and Bank Nifty for a while and concentrate on index heavyweights in the BSE small cap, mid cap indices, because those are the ones that are giving supernormal returns. As of now, just focus on cash counters, and of course, we'll be looking at a lot of them, especially the pre-budget build-up. Now, Sakshi, what's happening on Dow and the Nasdaq, as also what are the FII and DII numbers?
Michelle, so overnight in the US, the Nasdaq continued to hit its fresh record high, buoyed by the strong rally in the tech stocks. The tech-heavy index climbed by 1.3% nearly to close at almost 20,173, but for the first time it crossed record high levels. Then we've also seen S&P 500 rising by 0.38%. However, the Dow Jones has underperformed. Even yesterday it closed with a negative bias and a 0.25% loss on that front. This has also marked Dow's 8th consecutive day of losses, its longest losing streak since 2018 now. Additionally, the key US economic data for November, including its retail sales, industrial production, manufacturing production, all will be released today. So that will further shape up the sentiment in the US and the Wall Street as well. Remember, globally, investors, you have to keep an eye out on 22 central banks which are going to be declaring their monetary policy decisions this week itself. This would include the US Fed, like Shell has pointed out, Bank of Japan, Bank of England as well. So all of this will be very important to watch out for. As far as the Asia markets are concerned, again, remember they opened mixed in the early trade, reflecting Wall Street as well. And the investors are now turning their attention for the upcoming US Fed decision. The SX 200 rose by 0.8%. Nikkei was up by 0.5%. Kospi, what we've seen, in the meanwhile, slipped by about 0.68% in trade as well. There was also dip on the Hang Seng that was down by 0.6% as well. And the Chinese index also down by 0.4%. The GIFT Nifty is now indicating a muted opening at 24,664, 0.08% of a loss right there. As far as the overseas investors are concerned, they again turned net sellers of the Indian equities after a day of buying. So FPI's offloaded stocks worth about 278 crores, while what we've also seen is that the DIs also offloaded stocks worth 234 odd crore rupees as well. So this is something that we have to now watch out for, both domestic as well as foreign institutional investors offloading the stocks on that front. Now, in terms of the stocks that you can keep an eye out on, Vedanta will be in focus. The board has approved the fourth interim dividend of 8.5 rupees per share for FY25. Record date has been fixed at December 24th. So that will be clearly in focus. We'll also keep an eye out on Indus Towers. The company has said that the tax tribunal has ruled in its favor regarding the denial of depreciation of assets received under the merger. This will actually result in a reduction of 3,500 crores in the contingent liability. So good news coming in for Indus Towers. We'll also keep an eye out on Wipro. The company will acquire 100% shareholding in Applied Value Technologies and its affiliates for $40 million. So that's something that you can look at. We'll also keep an eye out on the railway stocks, as Shell was pointing out. Texmaco Rail, the company has received an order worth 187 crores. That will be in focus. RVNL, the company has received a letter of acceptance from Maharashtra Metro Rail Corporation and an order of 270 crores as well. Railtel will be in focus. The company has received work order worth 38 odd crore rupees from Central Warehousing Corporation. So those are the three stocks that will be in focus within the railways pack. Varun Beverages will be in focus. The company has acquired 39% of the issued and paid up capital of Lumar Mech. That will be important to watch out for too. We will also look at Happiest Minds Technology. The company has announced that Aureus Tech Systems has merged with Happiest Minds. So that will be in focus too. What we'll also focus on is HPCL. The company's board has approved lube modernization and bottoms upgradation of project with an estimated cost of about 4,679 odd crore rupees. Patanjali Foods will be in focus. The company has commenced commercial production at its Niglok palm oil processing mill in Arunachal Pradesh with a palm fruit crushing capacity of 5 million tons per hour. So that's something that you can also keep an eye out on. On the negative side, India Pesticides will be in focus. The company is informed that IT department has conducted a search at its registered offices and premises. So that could be reacting to that news as well. Share.
8:45, ladies and gentlemen. We'll also watch three companies. Again, the flavor of QIPs is back with a bang in the market. Look at HCC, Hindustan Construction Company. one of those that we followed in the early part of 2024 and late 2023. The stock moved from 18-17 rupees all the way up to 54.53. They are launching a 400 crore rupee QIP, worth watching. Mankind Pharma. This is one of the biggest wealth creators of 2023 and 2022. This north-based company, which focuses on the domestic pharma market, is about to raise 3,000 crore rupees at about 2,600 rupees per share. And these are the two shares that will be in focus today as far as individual stocks are concerned in the QIP space. Apart from that, strong cues are coming in from the entire banking sector, which is the PSU banking setup. HDFC Bank already hit a record high in the last 15-20 trading sessions. ICICI Bank is in top form. So these are a few spaces, these are a few stocks that we are looking at. Look at HUDCO. Yesterday's 5 percentage point gain will now rub off on IRFC and IREDA. These are the NBFC, the non-banking financial company arms of the government, which look at specific sectors. IREDA in renewable energy, HUDCO in the housing sector, and of course IRFC in the railway space. All three of them have seen far higher record highs than what they are currently at, and for the last 1 week or so there has been a very, very sensible build up. HUDCO has been a top performer. Now keep an eye out on IRFC and IREDA. Sakshi.
Okay, we'll also keep an eye out on what the brokerage houses are pointing out to this morning and which other stocks that they are going to be keeping in focus. Morgan Stanley is the first one which we will focus on. It's come out with a report on Wipro. It has an underweight call on Wipro. It's given a target price of 250 rupees on the stock as well. Remember, the stock is currently at 309 rupees. Now, they believe that after the Capco acquisition and Rising acquisition, these were done in 2021 and 2022, they see the applied value tech acquisition that the companies are around being relatively small. They also see the acquisition supporting more of capability boost, adding some marquee clients to the portfolio. But given the small scale, they see the acquisition having a limited impact on the financials of FY25 and FY26. On the IT sector as a whole, CLSA has come out with a report on TCS, Infosys and Wipro. In their quarterly preview, they believe they have showed confidence in improving client sentiments post the recent US election outcome. TCS expects tech budgets to expand in calendar year 2025. Furlough impact in BFSI is expected to be similar to last year. They also believe recovery is expected, particularly in US BFSI, getting broad-based across the subsectors. They also believe Infosys is now getting into a weak H2 seasonality, with Q4 even weaker than Q3. They also expect Wipro could see another leg of re-rating if they announce any capital allocation changes on that front too. So that's as far as their IT overview is. Now, on delivery, Aquarius has come out with a report. They've initiated a long call and a target price of 459 rupees per share. And they also have projected a 14% revenue CAGR over FY24 to FY27, with EBITDA margin expanding to 8.6% by FY27. Aquarius also says that revenue and EBITDA margin led operational leverage and also improved B2B partial truckload margins have given the company's rapid growth, as well as they also expect premium valuations over traditional logistics players to sustain as well on this one. Now, apart from this, we also have a view coming in on the airline space from Jefferies. Jefferies points out that Indigo's pace of new aircraft deliveries has picked up over the last few months. Air India's new aircraft deliveries has slowed down in the last few months. Deliveries could sharply slow down further in in 2025 for Air India. They believe slower delivery will cap the overall supply growth for the sector. They believe both Indigo and Air India seem to be adding higher flights on international routes, and the international routes addition is aiding domestic loads or yields as well. Normalizing cost curves, scale up of new digital initiatives are going to be the key next drivers for Indigo in the next 1 year, and therefore they maintain a buy call on Indigo. Apart from this, pharma is something that Jefferies has again pointed out to to several new impact reports as well. Jeffries has said that Lupin has begun to gain market share in the Miraburgon post its higher strength product launch. They also believe Zydus has begun to lose the Asacol HD, which is the colitis drug, the ulcerative colitis drug. That market share it is losing to Teva Pharma. They also believe Biocon is doing well in biosimilars, especially when we talk about the pegfilgrastim drug as well as trastuzumab. Sun Pharma, they believe specialty momentum continues with decent growth with Ilumya and Sequoia pain relief drug, and for Dr. Reddy's it continues to be in the generic category that they are betting big on. That's the overall general view. We also have on Piramal Pharma a specific report coming in from JM Financial. They've initiated a buy call here with a target price of 340. They have built in a 23% plus EBITDA CAGR, resulting in steady cash generation. And they also believe the company's CDMO business, its largest revenue segment, is key to its outperformance. Now, they also believe the traction has been gained through the newly commercialized molecules that will help the CDMO segment grow even further from here. Recovery expected in the US biotech sector starting second half of FY25. They also believe CDMO segment may achieve 17% CAGR growth over the next 3 years. So keep an eye out on Piramal Pharma from the pharma space in trade today. Shell.
Okay. It's the 17th of December. We are smack in the middle of the last month of December. And this is where the F&O space comes into action. Now you will see a faster deterioration of options prices. So buying options will be a little more difficult because you will have to build in higher momentum to offset time decay. Now, what are the 4 or 5 stocks that have done phenomenally well in the December expiry? Dixon, this has been the top gainer in the capital goods space, 20% higher, 18,846. If you look at the price earnings ratio, that is 200. And in the last 1 year or so, the counter has given 2.5 times the return. Despite that, you see a lot of hectic activity, mostly news-based, coming into this counter. Look at Indraprastha Gas, still below 400 rupees, but one of the top performers of the oil and gas space, up 22.6% in the month of December alone. So what I'm telling you is momentum plays like Dixon, where new highs and record highs are being chased, and I am also pointing out quality stocks which had been beaten black and blue for some or the other reason, and they are showing signs of action. Both these need to be tracked on different charts, and therefore they require a different approach. Tire companies, Apollo Tyres is 8.8% higher at 542 so far in the December expiry. One of the best performing sectors has been cement. JK Cement up 14.5, Ambuja 12.2. Ambuja is the stock to look forward to as far as the cement space is concerned. Apart from that, keep an eye out on Chambal Fertilizers. This is one of the best plays that we look at in the month of late December and January ahead of the February 1st meeting. Chambal is up 6.2% in the month of December. Apart from that, strong traction coming into all realty stocks. Oberoi Realty, 14% high in December, record high 2261. A strong move coming into DLF, 894. I am very sure that in DLF at least, you will see a change in digit fairly soon. At 894, it is one of the least expensive stocks in the real estate space and is doing phenomenally well, at least in North India. Godrej Properties, 5.2% higher. And of course, the metal space led by Vedant, record high, 12% in December. Jindal Steel and Power, 8.5% up. Steel Authority, 6% higher. And Hind Copper, 4.9% higher. Sakshi.
Okay, absolutely. What we will also do, viewers, today is we will keep an eye out on, several pockets that have been outperforming the railways and the defense space continuously on the back of orders. And as far as the pre-positioning is concerned, that's something that we can keep an eye out on. Apart from this, what we can also do is keep an eye out on the momentum stocks, the real estate space, and see whether the rally that came in very strong yesterday will be sustained or not across the board, especially on stocks like Macrotech, Oberoi Realty. They were in thick zone yesterday, so we'll have to see whether that carries on in trade today as well. The broader markets have started to perform. A lot of PSUs have also started to perform as well again. So these are the pockets that we will have to see whether things continue to move up in the positive zone. Consumer durables, again, remember, Delhi has woken up to dense fog, 5-degree temperature dip as well. What we've also seen is that our AQI is back above 420 levels as well. So Delhi is again choking some of the other North Indian cities as well, and therefore the demand for all those air purifiers continues to soar higher as well. So that's something that we will continue to watch out for as to how consumer durables will also perform. Swiggy is something that we will check again. Remember, it went up sharply in trade, and this was on the back of sharp moves that came in yesterday. The stock moved up about 12 odd percent, and in fact, this is after Axis Securities sees a 20% upside as well, and the stock is already given 45% returns from its listing price, and has already doubled investors' money right there when it comes to the IPO allotments right there. So strong momentum has actually come in for Swiggy, and we'll also keep an eye out on what Zomato will also be doing from here on to going forward from here. So the entire new age tech space, the defense, the railway space, the thick pockets in the PSU space, especially PSU banks that even Shell pointed out, those will be important to watch out for. Apart from the broader markets that have been showing signs of resilience, let's see whether that continues to sustain, and of course the real estate stocks that got into momentum yesterday. So those are the pockets that I also will be watching for today, Shell.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, 8:58. We are just 2 minutes away from the pre-open. Let's for a moment pause and reflect what the market has done so far in the month, and not only in the month but also so far in 2024. Let's start with the Nifty. You've seen an year-to-date return of 13.5%. Now, this might look fairly okay, but till about September 26, this return was actually 21%, which means that the markets have corrected fairly sharply between 26 September and December 1st, overall bringing down the net return, which now stands at 13.5%. We are very happy with this kind of a compounding on the Nifty, because as Nifty is the base, you will see a very, very strong move coming into small caps and mid cap indices. Now let's look at the Dow Jones index. Even despite 8 successive days of falls, the Dow Jones index is up 16% year to date. The S&P 500 is up 27%, and of course on top of this heap is the biggest of them all, Nasdaq, up 34% in the month of in 2024 so far, and this rally will obviously accelerate much higher. Nothing much is happening across Asia. Much of these rallies are very well captured in some of the Indian ETFs that track the Chinese market. So the Shanghai index is up 13.7% so far in 2024. Hang Seng index is up 15.7%. Taiwan is up 28.5%. And of course, let's look at the Kospi. Kospi is down 7%. Remember that impeachment? Remember that martial law? All that, ladies and gentlemen, impacts the psychology of the investor. He or she does not want to be in a market where there is political uncertainty, and therefore that's the reason India is getting all the more attractive for global players. 9 a.m. ladies and gentlemen, let's take a detour into the markets. What you see on the Nifty, minus 369, will improve for the better. This is those volatile trades that I'm talking about, mostly run by algos. For the moment, there is only one gainer in the top super index heavyweight space, and that's Tata Motors, 784.85. In the green, Bajaj Finance, but barely so, 1 rupee higher, 7,209. We are waiting for this number to improve dramatically, and at the same time we'll start focus on NSE 500. Okay, hospital chains, ladies and gentlemen. Rainbow Children's Medical Limited, 1590. It was still up 7% till earlier. GETND 5% higher, 2127. You have a strong move coming into Whirlpool, 2.6% higher, 1958. What else is moving in sympathy? Real estate space, Shobha Limited, 2.5% higher, 1630. Bikaji Foods, 1.9% higher, 824. A quick look into FNO. Okay, Max Financial Services, 6% higher, 1221. Insurance space is buzzing. That's mainly because on December 21st, you will see a decision coming from the group of ministers in the GST cabinet, where a cut in the GST rate on life and non-life insurance policies is most likely to happen. Therefore, you see a very sharp move coming into ICICI Pru, 1.5% higher, 690, and other insurance plays as well. Dr. Reddy's in the green, BPCL in the green, Apollo Tyres in the green, Hutco in the green. So that is how the structure is. The Nifty is now a sensible 179 points lower. It will still improve for the better. You should see an opening -50 or -30. That's what my estimate is. Let's see if a guest has joined us. Mr. Arpit Beriwal joins us. He's an analyst with Motilal Oswal Financial Services on the derivatives and wealth management space. A very good morning to you, Arpit. Any view that you would have on the Bank Nifty ahead of the US Federal Reserve meet, or is everybody at Motilal Oswal also enjoying pre-Christmas rallies?
Well, good morning to all. So, particularly if you talk about Bank Nifty, just starting with the show with Bank Nifty. So, if you see, Bank Nifty has been quite resilient. In spite of the entire fall in the last 2 months, Bank Nifty has been a very huge outperformer. So, if you talk technically on the weekly scale, it is consolidating in a wider range between 52,500 to 53,750. However, yesterday also we have seen outperformance relatively, as Nifty was down, but Bank Nifty is holding its gains, mainly driven by HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank. So overall, our view on Bank Nifty is positive till it holds above 53,000 levels on the spot levels. On the upside, hurdle is seen at 54,000 and 54,250. So ongoing performance likely to be outperformance by Bank Nifty looking at the chart set wise. So 53,000 is a major support for an upside move towards 54,000 and then 54,250 zones.
Okay, Arpit, we'll also understand from you any key sector or stocks that you're looking at for today. What would that be?
So if you see overall energy stocks, overall the market structure-wise, or energy stocks have overall be sidelined. But if we see comparatively, GAIL and NTPC relatively they have been placed better. So if you see within the energy space also, GAIL, if you see the structure-wise, and is trading in a range between 200 to 210 levels. On the daily scale, it is holding about 50 DEMA, and small bullish candle with long lower shutter that indicates buying is visible at lower levels. So overall, from the chart setup wise, overall energy sector is in sideways, but still within that, selective pockets are still showing strength with support at 195 on an upside move towards 210 and then 2112 levels.
Oh, fair point. Let's get your comments on individual stocks. Arpit, any view that you would have on ICICI Bank? It's already hit a record high, and of course Bajaj Finance.
Yeah, first talking about the ICICI Bank, this has been one of the huge outperform within the banking space and the most strong trending counter. So technically, if we see on the monthly scale, it is trending higher. On the weekly scale, it is back to its previous highs near 1350, 1355 levels. On the daily scale also, it is on the verge of the breakout. So I think looking at the overall chart setup wise, the Bank Nifty rally that is likely to be driven higher, main constituent would be ICICI Bank. So ICICI Bank is the strongest bank within the banking space. 1310, 1312 is 1320 is the immediate support zone for ICICI Bank. On the upside, 1385 and then 1400 definitely can be seen in a couple of sessions. Along with that, if we see about Bajaj Finance, so within the NBFC space, Bajaj Finance overall on the weekly scale is trading in a broader range between 16,900 to 7,800. However, on the daily scale, weekly scale, it has formed double bottom pattern near 6,900. We have seen a good rally. But looking at the financial service index also, this has been a quite strong outperformer. So Bajaj Finance also views positive with an upside move towards 7,400, 7,500. On the immediate basis, 7,050 is a major support zone for Bajaj Finance.
Okay, got that. Well, Arpit, what about the PSU banks? Are you also looking at this fresh move that is emerging in this space? They're trying to recover from the lows that they've seen during the last phase of correction. What looks good here?
If you talk about first the PSU banks, we have been bullish, but in that also selective bullish, mainly driven by SBI. So if you see the structure of SBI has been huge outperformer. On the monthly scale, it is forming higher lows. On the weekly scale, it has given a range breakout above 830, 835 levels. However, from last few days, it is consolidating between 840 to 865. But the base of the stock is shifting higher. So the PSU pack, our top outperformer would be SBI, and definitely we can see a new life highs in couple of days and couple of weeks. Looking at the chart structure wise, so SBI would be a top pick with keeping stop loss of 835 for an upside move towards 888 and then 900 zones plus.
Okay, got that.
Okay, 907, ladies and gentlemen, there is some sanity that has come back into the Nifty, now down 80 points, and this is in sync with what the GIFT Nifty was pointing, and of course the fact that nothing much is going to happen in terms of net index movement towards the close because of the US Federal Reserve meeting that begins today, ends tomorrow, and we will be reacting to a 0.25% rate cut on Thursday, which is also the weekly expiry of the index. Let's focus on individual stocks. We'll also keep an eye out on Indus Towers, ladies and gentlemen. A very beneficial ruling from the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal now allows Indus Towers to take depreciation in one part of its business that essentially means lower taxes. Look at it from this point of view. 359, it is already up 1.8% in pre-open. Arpit, what are the charts of Indus Towers telling you at present levels?
So if you see the setup of Indus Tower, on the daily scale it is hovering near 50 DEMA, 200 DEMA and between 50 DEMA. So on the daily scale it is negative formation lower highs. So major support is around 335, 340 levels. On the upside hurdle is 375. So I think as you're seeing a positive opening tick near 358, 359 levels, it can head towards 365, then 372 levels. So 372 is a major hurdle zone, while on the downside, support seems to be near 343 levels.
We've seen the first impact of the widening trade deficit, viewers, that we saw yesterday. The rupee has opened at a record low of 84.88. It's now trading at 84.91. So this is a record low that we are seeing for the rupee right now. Clearly, the exerting of pressure that continues on the rupee, and all eyes will again be on the RBI as to how do they continue to support this one also going forward. But coming back to the markets to see which are the pockets that you should be keeping an eye out on as the markets are getting ready to open up today. Pharma stocks seem to be something that investors are really looking at today. The pre-opening indicates about 0.25% of an uptick, even though the large part of the market could be looking at a muted start. Stocks like Cipla could be back in focus. It's indicative of an opening at 1.5% higher. Arpit, are you looking at this space favorably, or do you think there is a lot of volatility that still one needs to see here?
If we talk about pharma as a pack, from last couple of weeks, overall it has been subdued, and in fact it has been corrective phase majority of the stocks, whether it's Divi's, whether it's Oro. If we talk about overall chart strategy wise, we'll still be waiting for any major reversal. So if I look at the Nifty pharma chart, if I see the setup wise, major hurdle zone is near 20 to 600 levels. So I think above 20 to 600 level, there will be some stability. However, if we see some momentum, then within the pharma pack, Cipla would be definitely better if we comparatively, because it is near its support zone, and definitely some pullback can be seen towards 1530, 1550 levels. That's near its major support zone of 1440, 1450 levels. So we'll wait for some reverse on the pharma pack, and as we see some momentum, then Cipla would be the idea to go for an stop with a support of 1440 for an upside move towards 1520 and then 1550 zones.
Ladies and gentlemen, 83 points down on the Nifty, 24,584. Remember, 24,500 is a major support as far as put writers are concerned. If you feel the Nifty moving that way, that would be an intraday opportunity to go long on the 24,600 Nifty call, which expires on, wait, let me tell you, this one, which is 19th, on the 26th of December. So 24,600 Nifty call and the 24,500 Nifty call expiring on 26th of December is what we'll keep an eye out on. A quick one on Zomato, Arpit. What are the charts telling you? We've seen a consistent up move on Swiggy over the last 3 trading sessions. What are Zomato's charts foretelling?
Looking at the overall the chart structure of Zomato, we have been quite bullish from last almost a year or so, and similarly the chart also shows a similar picture. On the monthly scale, it has given a range breakout about 285 levels, a strong bullish candle. On the daily scale, we have seen some corrective move from high levels. However, yesterday we again seen pullback from its 50 DEMA around 285 to 88 levels, negative lower highs formation, and I think looking at the chart setup wise, it's ready to scale new record highs towards 305, 315 and then 330 levels positionally. So looking at the chart setup wise, it's a very strong setup with the immediate support at 287 for an upside move towards 305 and then 3110 levels.
And what about Swiggy then? It's indicative of a 1% downtick start today, but it's moved up substantially and has already rallied 45% from the listing price that is, and just in a very short period of time. Getting into a dangerous zone right now, should it be avoided, or is there a much more upside that one can really tap on even now on this one?
So as rightly mentioned, we have seen a stupendous rally in last almost 15-20 days itself post its listing. So I think the base of the stock has shifted higher from 440 levels to 520, 530 levels. And I think looking at the overall chart setup wise, as you've seen already a sharp rally from 500 to 590 levels, we should wait for some cool off. Some cool off could be seen. The good entry point would be again near 555, 560 levels. Look at the positional setup. So I think 555, 560 is a good demand zone, and the previous support has been shifted to 535, 540 levels. So some dip towards 555, 560 can accumulate again. The setup is still strong, but current level of risk reward is not favorable. So any dip towards 555, 560 would be much better favorable entry point.
9:13, ladies and gentlemen, 2 minutes left for Tuesday to begin, and we are likely to see sideways trade. Nifty settled 83 points lower, 24,584. The bank Nifty showing a back foot of about 1/3%. Flat trade on the NSE 500 and the Nifty IT index, but keep in mind the small cap space. You have already seen a record high coming back on the Nifty small cap index. Now at 19,563. 4 days ago it hit a record high. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that the CNX Midcap index is again headed for a record high, 59,458 for you today. And of course the Nifty Next 50, the Nifty Midcap Select, all these indices are in top form because traders and investors are focusing on the cash market instead of the main indices Nifty and Bank Nifty. One favorite railway stock, Arpit, before we begin trade for Tuesday. What looks good on the chart in the railway sector?
So if you see overall from the railway pack, Realtel has been a preferred pick. However, from last couple of months it has been downtrend, but last month it has formed a strong base near 415, 420 levels. Range breakout on weekly scale above 425 levels. So Realtel would be a preferred pick within the railway space. with keeping support of 420 for an upside move towards 460 and then 475 zones.
Okay. Got
9:15, ladies and gentlemen, the market is upon us. 80 points lower on the Nifty, 165 down on the Nifty Bank, 112 down on the IT index, and the NSE 500 has opened 0.2% lower. So on the back foot on Tuesday, let us see how it progresses. Now let us see the pain points. First of all, out of 10 super heavyweight index stocks, only one is in the green, and that is Tata Motors, 3.3 rupees 50 higher at 788. What else is moving? HDFC Bank, the highest weighted stock, is down 5.2. Reliance is 11 rupees 55 lower, 1255. ICICI Bank, Axis Bank and SBI are in the red, so therefore Bank Nifty is down. Kotak Bank is flat, doing nothing at all. How about the FMCG space? Lever a rupee lower, Infosys is in pain, 21 rupees lower at 1958. So this is how the market is. For the moment, 100 points lower in the Nifty. Remember the 24,500 and the 24,600 Nifty call that we will be tracking a while shortly on expiry of December 26th. Very quickly, let's look at the top gainers in the NSE 500. Okay, you have Cipla. This is event-led, 2.3% higher, 1481.65. United Spirits, 2.5% higher, 1557. Chambal Fertilizers, I had pointed this one out to you, 1.7% higher. Keep an eye out on Industars, opening 1.4% higher. Updates coming in from GMR Airports, which talk to higher airport traffic, 1.4% higher, 85.08. Activity is back on the long side on National Aluminium. We will analyze this chart as well. This is doing pretty good. And of course, Lodha, LIC, Petronet, LNG and Poonawalla FinCorp are the other gainers that are doing pretty well. Taking it away is the hotel space. Indian hotels doing pretty well. No stopping Zomato. So this is how the markets have opened in early trade. Let's take a quick view on the gainers that are there. Surprisingly, the top gainer today is Donier Textiles. Remember, it was up 20% yesterday. It's up 12.4% today, 181. Fresh move coming into PPL Pharma. Texrail, order win that Sakshi had pointed out, 3.5% higher. Prestige and Shakti Pumps are in the green. So this is how the markets are structured, ladies and gentlemen. And this is how the markets have opened. Anything, Arpit, that you would like to do in early deals?
So if we see overall very good momentum, especially seen in digital space like Zomato and Paytm. So if you see the setup wise also, as we also discussing about Zomato, it has corrected from high levels. The bigger trend is positive, turning from 50 DEMA, open marginally positive. So I think the risk reward is quite favorable with support of 289 to 90 for an upside move towards 305, 306 levels. So this would be a top pick within the digital A space. Along with that, one more that is looking very strong from the reality package, overall reality. We have been quite bullish on this counter from last couple of weeks. And if you see the reality space, it has been a huge outperformer. And overall reality has been a big outperformer, trading a life high territories. Yesterday, we've seen a sharp uptick, but still looking at the positional setup on the weekly frame, we can head towards 2350, 2400 positionally. On the immediate basis, 2300 would be our target. On the downside, support is near 2220.
Okay, and the real estate space is continuously outperforming even after yesterday's sharp up move, about a 0.8% of a gain, along with Oberoi Realty that Arpit has marked. We also have Prestige Estates, Brigade, Sobha, Macrotech, Mahindra Life Spaces, Godrej Properties, all of them in thick shape yet again. Even in the F&O space, again it's Prestige and Oberoi Realty marking their presence right at the top. Along with it, the broader markets are again showing some signs of strength. 0.3% of a move on the upside as far as the small caps are concerned. Piramal Pharma. Remember, we had talked about this stock and I had suggested that this is one that you can keep an eye out on, with JM Financial coming out with a new set of target and initiated report on this one. A sharp move after this report has come in. Brokerage houses are penciling in higher targets for this one. Nalco is up and about 2.2% higher. Brigade, Railtel is moving up. Keynes Technology, after yesterday's up move, is again up 2%. You have Zensar Tech that's also buzzing in trade. We have a whole lot in different set of sectors. But let's discuss Piramal Pharma first with you. Arpit, you did talk about Cipla. What about Piramal Pharma? Is that also in a positive zone right now?
If you see Piramal Pharma, it has a typical nature, and if you see, it has been a outperformer within the pharma pack. Overall, if you see, the pharma index was down, but the stock is, if you see, the beautifully placed on the monthly and weekly scale. So on the daily scale, from last 1 year, it is perfectly holding to its 50 DEMA, and again we have seen buying attraction near its 50 DEMA. So in fact, 2 days back only, it took support near its 50 DEMA around 250, 252 levels, and today we have seen some positive gap up opening, and again follow buying is seen. So I think from the current junction, the risk reward is quite favorable because it's running from its support zone of 245, 250 level. Slowly, steadily, it can head towards 270 and then 280 plus. So within the pharma pack, this has been a huge outperformer, and slowly, steadily again can scale new record highs or the previous all-time high towards 280, 290 levels.
Okay, got that.
Fair point. Now what we'll do is we'll take a detour into the broader markets. So far, the main indices have been in the red, but that's not a problem. Remember, globally the market is in a sideways zone. Okay. Advanced decline. This is the most critical thing that we are looking at for the last 10 trading sessions. Again in the positive, 1,356 shares in the green, 832 in the red. Sakshi and I track 19 indices for you. 11 are in the red, 9 in the green. The top gaining index is the Nifty Alpha 50, the Nifty Small Cap 100, and of course the Nifty Midcap 100. Gains are minute and minuscule, but remember, this is where the action is, ladies and gentlemen. This is also the right time to mark where volume is moving with all-time highs. Naukri, 8,900, 1% higher. Persistent, 6,541. Dixon Technologies, 0.5% higher, 18,933, and Indian Hotels 868. These are the 4 all-time highs in the F&O space, and we are adding Anantraj. This is a real estate play out of New Delhi, 4.5% higher, 822. What else is a new high? KNS Technologies, 1.8% higher, 7,250. Mazgaon taking it away, 5114. Let's look at the PSU pack and find out where the activity is on the higher side. I had mentioned fertilizer stocks. Look at NFL, 3.7% higher, 125.24. This is the highest gaining stock in the PSU space. RCF, FACT, GSFC. These are all stocks in the PSU space that are doing well. Mazgaon up 1.6, BEML up 1.4, Ircon up 1.2. So this is how the markets are structured. Arpit, anything that looks good?
If you see, as we've already discussed about the pharma pack and the reality pack, along with that, if you see within the reality pack also, if you see DLF has been quite promising. And if you see slowly, steadily, we can see another good movement of 3 to 4% as reality has been the flavor. Along with that, one more stock, that the defense sector, as we are talking about, last month defense sector has bottomed out, and we have seen strong momentum, strong recovery from lower levels. Within that Must-Dog, if you see the chart setup wise, strong base formation on the weekly scale and the range breakout about 4850, 4900 levels. On the daily scale, it is given a fresh Poland flag breakout above 4,950. So I think good momentum can be seen towards 5,300, 5,350 levels. As generally we have seen mid-cap and small cap in strong momentum, and within that defense space, this has been a huge outperformer. So I think the Must-Dog looks good within that defense space at the current levels, or minor dip also, with stop loss of support of 4,950 for an upside move towards 5,250 and then 5,350 levels.
Okay, since we are talking about the broader markets, Dornier Industries is what I will mark for the second day in a row. Remember, yesterday it was in thick momentum again. Today there is almost an 11% kind of an uptick coming in on this one. We do know, Arpit, that the textile space has been in momentum over the last 2 weeks odd or so. Dornier has started this fresh move. Do you track this stock at all? Should it be followed?
So if we see, as we're seeing, very different sectors have been participating and sharp up move have been seen in this stocks only in last couple of sessions. I think if some would have picked it at lower levels, that would have definitely be a favorable risk reward. But if I look at the chart setup wise, in last almost 1 week, we have seen a stupendous rally from 110 to 180 levels. So I think better to wait for some cool off in this counter. The setup wise, it's very strong on the weekly scale, but as you have already seen a sharp up move, so I think better to cool off from some higher levels, and good entry point would be near 168, 170 levels. That would be a favorable entry point, and current levels, the risk reward will not be favorable.
Okay, got that. So that's as far as Donia is concerned.
9:25, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look at volume buzzers because the first 10 minutes have lapsed, and we'll look at Quest Corp. This is where the action is. 6.5% high, 713, and already 2.3 times the 5-day average is traded, 5,70,000 shares. We'll keep an eye out on this one. Chambal Fertilizers. Let's speak to Arpit. Arpit, your top pick in the fertilizer space. This is the one that will now start working ahead of the budget. What looks good?
So if you see, I think within the fertilizer space, within the FNO space, if you look at the chart of Chambal Fertilizer itself, from last almost 15 weeks, 26 weeks, it has been trading in a broader range between 490 to 535 levels. And I think how the chart setup is setting up, definitely the stocks positionally is ready to head towards new high life and very strong setup. So I think within the fertilizer space, Chambal Fertilizer would be a good favorite pick within the fertilizer space. 545 is the important level. Once it closes about 545, definitely can see a rally towards 8 to 10% towards 600 plus levels. So I think within this space, Chambal would be a preferred pick with support of 510 for an upside move towards 560 and then positionally 620 levels.
Okay, got that. Well, apart from this, let's also pull up some of the other pockets. Again, since budget is what we're talking, defense is something that we can again focus on, especially stocks like BEL and HAL is what I wanted to discuss with you. We've been discussing the shipping stocks that have garnered some more flavor over the last few days, but the primary space stocks that we always talk about in the defense pack, HAL, BEL, have they run up quite a bit? Do you think there is more upside? Should one be really looking at them at this stage?
If you talk about the defense space, as rightly mentioned, BL has been a huge outperformer. And if we see the setup wise, this was the stock that was first started moving higher as the market recovered from lower levels. So the weekly scale, if we see, it has given a range breakout above 305 levels, and slowly, steadily from last 7 to 8 days, it is consolidated between 305 to 320 levels. So I think from the setup wise, if we see compared to HL and BL would be a better pick. And still, I think from here on also, we can see a good rally towards 325, 335 levels because the base of the stock has shifted higher. So on the immediate basis, I think positional stop loss would be 300, and the immediate basis 308 would be a major support zone for an upside move towards 325 and then positionally 335 levels.
Okay.
A digit change is imminent on Zomato today, already 297. We'll just discuss Zomato in a bit. I'd just like to mark some volume busters. This is Mindspace. Abu Dhabi Investment Authority has sold a major stake in this one. 2,000 crores worth of transactions that have happened on Mindspace REIT. This is a real estate investment trust. So please keep an eye out on this one. 356, down about 1.8%. Okay. Let's look at the winners today. Anything that I'd like to mark? Yes, CSB Bank, 7.5% higher, 329.5. Quest we've marked. Nahar Spinning and Weaving Mills, 6% higher, 315. Remember, this is the textile place that is doing pretty well. Another company is Banswara Syntex, available at book value till yesterday, now up 5.7%, 173.4. Fairchem Organics, something that I had marked yesterday also, it was up 20%, it's up 12% today. Nahar Poly Mills, 11% higher, 339. Donier we've just discussed, and what else would I like to mark in top gainers? New highs, okay. Afcon's construction. This is something that Sakshi and I have been discussing many times. Okay. 551, 2% higher. What else? Okay, these are the stocks that we've already marked. Salzer Electronics, 1367, 2% higher. And Motilal Oswal Nasdaq 100 fund, ladies and gentlemen, fresh record high, 214 rupees 20, up 3%. I don't get Mafang here. Let me just see what Mafang ETF is doing, because the Nasdaq is at a record high and one of its stocks yesterday was doing pretty well. I'm talking about the Mafang ETF. Well, surprise, surprise, 135.5. It's up 1.8% today. So two of the best trades for 2024 have been Motilal Oswal Nasdaq 100 fund and of course Mirai Asset. MCX doing pretty well, 67.54. Arpit, anything that catches your attention?
If you see overall, the exchanges and the digital space has been the theme. And if you talk about along with that, MCX has been rightly picked up also. The stock has corrected some from higher levels, from 7,000 levels. However, on the daily scale, it again witnessed some buying interest from lower levels, negative formation of lower highs on the daily scale, above 6,650. And I think it is perfectly holding to its short-term moving averages. So generally, the stock of the nature is it moves by 3 to 4 days, and then there is some corrective move, and again the momentum has been seen. So I think the risk road wise within the exchange space, as you're seeing very good momentum in BSE, CDSL, and all the exchange related stocks. MCX, the risk road is quite favorable. I think from here on also, immediate basis, the support would be around 6,690. Upside move can be seen towards 6,800 and then 6,850.
Okay, got that. Well, there is further pickup in pace as far as the real estate sector is concerned, over 1% higher now. Media stocks are picking up pace, 1% higher for this one. Mid caps are up 0.3%. Pharma stocks are 0.3% higher. Small caps, now even the IT space is picking up some strength. In action now is the Tech Mahindra within the Nifty. Then you also have Coforge that continues to move up. Even yesterday it was at substantial moves were seen here, record levels, 0.7% uptick for this one. Emphasis, Persistent Systems, HCL Tech, Wipro and TCS all are up and about right now. Arpit, IT pack, does it interest you at the current levels?
If you see from the strongest sector in the last couple of months, IT index has been the strongest sector trading at life high territories, and we have seen the outcome within the mid cap and the large cap counters. All the counters have been strong, especially the mid cap space has been a huge outperformance in the last couple of months. Within that also, if we see Persistent Coforge has been the outperformer, and we're likely to go with the strong outperformer counter only, that is Persistent. So if we see the setup of Persistent on the monthly scale, continuously forming higher lows on the monthly scale from last 7 months. On the weekly scale also, it gave range breakout above 6,200 and slowly steadily on a daily basis, slowly steadily is moving higher. So I think looking at the positional setup also, Nifty IT is in very good shape, very good strength, and within that mid cap space, we are very strong on Persistent. So I think Persistent definitely can see new life high towards 7,000 plus levels in coming week or coming couple of sessions. So our view would be still positive and better to play with the mid cap stocks within the IT pack. Persistent can go long at this levels also, with keeping support of 6,250 for an upside move towards 6,800 and then positionally 7,000 plus levels.
Okay.
9:34, ladies and gentlemen. The first 15-17 minutes of trade is done. This is the time when you just sort of pause back and look at the Nifty. It's still down 70 points. Let's look at the individual components of the Nifty and find out what they are doing. Okay, Tata Motors. Remember, this is bottom fishing that's happening. The stock has corrected from 1150 all the way down to 780, and quality buyers seem to be here, contributing 5 points to the Nifty. Cipla 4 points, Adani Ports 2 points, HCL Tech and Tech Mahindra about 1 point each, more than 1 point. What's pulling the Nifty down? HDFC Bank and Reliance. So obviously there's nothing much you can do on the long side. 11 points because of HDFC and 10 points because of Reliance. ITC and ICICI Bank respectively 6 points, Bharti Airtel 7 points. So the super index heavyweights are pulling the Nifty lower, and mild stocks are trying to help the Nifty on its way up. Sakshi, we need to check PVR Inox for two reasons. That's the Pushpa 2 trade, 1522, and in any case this stock has been beaten black and blue. It is still below 200-day DMA. Arpit, what are the charts telling you on PVR Inox?
If you see overall the PVR chart structure from last almost 2 months, it has been trading in a broader range between 1440, 1450 on the downside, whereas on the upside 1620 is the hurdle zone. So on the daily scale, it has formed a double bottom pattern a couple of days back, and it is given a breakout above that. However, it is still trading near its 200 DEMA and below its 50 DEMA. So on the same side, upside is also capped, but looking at the junction of the support zone, it is turning higher from the support zone. So I think risk reward is favorable, and as you are seeing, broader market is in favor the mid cap and small cap. So I think PVR immediate support is around 1490 levels. Upside move can be seen towards 1550, 1580 levels.
Okay, got that. Let's again look at any other key stocks that are buzzing in the broader markets that need attention. Nahar Polyfilms is up by about 11%. That's buzzing in trade. You also have stocks like CSB Bank, that's up 7%. Questcorp was marked by Shell. Walchand Nagar Industries is up 7%. Donia I have marked earlier. Then you also have Blue Jet Healthcare. That's up by about 5.8%. That's also buzzing. Umang Dairies is another one that's up by about 4%. RPP Infra is buzzing in trade as well. That's as far as some of the Nifty 500 stocks in action are concerned. Within the Nifty Next 50, beyond the ones that we've discussed, beyond realty, stocks like Info Edge, Zomato, Varun Beverages, we also have stocks within the power space. So PFC is also pulling up in trade today. You have Adani Power that's also buzzing. Adani, some of the stocks are pulling up. Adani Energy Solutions is also up in trade today. Adani Total Gas, Adani Green, all of them are actually buzzing. Tata Power is buzzing too. Arpit, power space for you, does it look really good at this point in time? It's been through its own share of consolidation in the recent correction that happened on the markets. Your sense of how should one look at this space afresh? This is definitely one space that's not going anywhere for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years as well. So how should somebody really creating a portfolio of power stocks be approaching this space?
If you see overall from the power sector also, if you see, we have seen good momentum in the last year rally especially from the power stocks. But if you see from last 3 to 6 months, the structure, majority of the stocks has been sideways. And if you see, however, certain counters is still outperforming. And within that, if you see Tata Power, the major consumer of power sector, on the monthly scale, it gave a range breakout above 300 levels. And then slowly, steadily from last almost 7 to 8 months, it is trading in between 380 to 450 levels. So I think going from a long-term perspective, I think better to create a basket of 2 to 3 stocks within the power stocks. So one would be Tata Power. That would be a good from a long-term perspective. Along with that, another counter that we are quite bullish on is JSW Energy. So if we see the sector-wise also, JSW Energy has been strong uptrend. Post its breakout of about 450, 500 levels. Stupendous rally was seen towards 800 levels. However, in the last 3 to 4 months, it is trading on a flattish note. But the good part is that even on the market weakness, the base of the stock has shifted higher. So I think within the power sector, this too would be a preferred pick from a long-term perspective also. As we see the outperformance is seen in the market, and this outperformance is likely to continue going ahead. So this would be a 2 preferred picks within the power sector.
Okay, got that.
Let's look at stocks where profit booking seems to be taking place. Shriram Finance. This is the top loser in the F&O space, down 2.3%, 3,069. Cholamandalam Finance, 1.8% lower, 1,267. And climbing rapidly is Dixon. 1.4% higher, but I'm talking about volume. This is the third most active counter in terms of futures, stock futures in the F&O space. Already 5,450 contracts have been traded. The lot size is a small 50 shares. But no stopping PVR Inox today. 3.7% higher. Delivery, change of digit, 402, 2.4% higher. This is looking super good. Erstwhile favorites, REC, 565, 1.1% higher. And of course, Quest Corp. This is the first stock that I had marked, now up 8%, 726.50, moving around its 200-day moving average. Arpit ji, a quick one on Quest Corp.
So if you see the Quest Corp chart structure, if you see overall good, you have seen already the stock is up by 8% on the today's session, perfectly bouncing from its 200 DEMA, surpasses its 50 DEMA. So I think from a weekly scale, a minor hurdle was near 720, 725 levels. And I think looking at the volumes also and a strong momentum, I think closing above 722, 725 will definitely open the room for another 3 to 4% rally towards 750 levels. So I see overall from the intraday basis, I think definitely one can go long with keeping small stop loss near 695 for an upside move towards 745 and then 760 levels.
Okay. Well, it's time to thank you then, Arpit, for being with us on this edition. It's appreciate your time with us and all those insights that you've shared with our viewers on several stocks, sectors and the outlook on the markets as well. Hoping to see you back soon on another edition of Business Today. Stay with us as well going forward. What we will do is we will now welcome viewers, another guest who's joining in. We have Kranti Batini, Director of Research, Wealth Mill Securities, who will be joining in shortly. But what we'll do is we'll quickly check back on the markets front. 24,567 currently on the Nifty, 100 points lower. Remember, 100 points lower is what we ended with the losses as far as yesterday is concerned. And we also have another 100 points of a downtick yet again. Kranti is with us now. Kranti, very good morning to you. Good to have you with us. Tell us what is it that is looking good to you in the markets? Where is it that you are still cautious about in the current setup?
Yes, actually, we are witnessing some kind of profit booking after the recent rally from the bottom of the market.
Yes.
So ahead of the holiday season and all, people tend to book some profit from the table. But the long-term trend and medium trend is in a positive territory. The broader mid-cap has been going at a strong note at this point of time also. We can see some kind of cherry picking in the mid and small cap space at this point of time. They have shown the resilience. Normally, in a typical consolidation phase, we tend to see mid and small caps outperforming. But this case is completely different. We can see the outperformance in mid cap and small cap space. That shows the interest on Indian markets for the retail participation is concerned. That has been making the market to be in a very strong category at this point of time. So nothing to worry at this point of time. Definitely any kind of dip on Indian markets, it's a warranted buy going ahead also. But in the medium to short term, what we can sense is it's a buy on decline and sell on rally kind of market. So it's useful for the traders also to make some money in the medium to short term. We have different events that are lined up, the Fed action, and also going ahead in the new year, the budget, and all the strong news has been lined up. And also the government has been placed on the table, the one nation and one nation, one election. So if that concludes, the government is in a complete action plan to implement the reform agenda. So much exciting times are ahead, despite of medium to short term some kind of negative news. Valuations also with the recent correction, they looks fairly on a long-term perspective. So one can utilize these kind of dips to make their portfolio for long term. What interesting for us is at this point of time, still after the recent correction, defense looks very attractive to us, and also infrastructure is emerging as a new theme. So these are the themes we are watching. Of course, the consumer and and domestic consumption is concerned, we have witnessed some kind of softening of the consumption theme. But on a longer term perspective, the theme is intact despite of the recent softening of the demand and supply ratio is concerned.
Let's look at the fertilizer space. Fact, GSFC, GNFC, NFL and RCF. They are in top form. Now SPIC has also started to move 3.7% higher, 80.3. As also Chambal fertilizers from the FNO space. This is a sector which will now be in demand till at least 26th, 27th of January, after which profit booking will come in. It's a historical fact over the last 30 years that I've watched that fertilizer space starts to rise 1 month before the budget. Kranti, good morning and a very warm welcome. Any favorites that you have in the fertilizer space? Anything that looks good?
Shail, these stocks have been in a consolidation phase and names like FACT and all, they had a dream run in the past few years. So as you rightly mentioned, ahead of the election and ahead of the monsoons, these stocks tend to outperform. But some stocks, this cycle, okay, they have been consistently, they are going up. Names like FACT and Chambal fertilizer kind of thing. And also Paradeep, these are the stocks, GNFC, these are the stocks which have witnessed a strong rally from its bottoms. So one can use, these are the trading calls, but there are certain stocks one can hold on for a longer term also, given the kind of strong fundamentals are concerned. But many of the stocks one can use this cyclicality to make a trade in the medium to short term.
Okay. Along with the fertilizer space, are you also looking at any pockets that are likely to benefit from the upcoming budgetary announcements right there, Kranti? Do you think some spaces will garner more strength? Should traders, investors be looking at repositioning from the budget perspective?
Yeah, the first half of the year, Sakshi, the budgetary allocations, if you see, government could able to spend around 65% of the budgetary allocation. There are various reasons. One is the erratic monsoons and also some kind of general elections impacted in the first quarter of the year. So the first half of the year, the capex has been quite slow. So the government going to accelerate the pace of spending, and also the budgetary allocation towards the rail infra is going to be on a strong note. So ahead of the budget, we have witnessed last few days some kind of run up in the railway stocks. They have been in a consolidation phase. So the momentum is going to pick up in railways and infrastructure space is concerned. So one need to be stock specific in this space. So the infra theme is going to be, they have not done well anything in the past 7-8 months, last few quarters. So we can expect some kind of momentum in infrastructure theme is concerned. It can be very stock specific.
Right. So it can be very, very stock specific on that front. Apart from this, let's also focus on some of the other pockets right there. Do you think autos and auto ancillaries will be in focus as well? Already we are hearing that the upcoming GST Council meeting could be looking at hiking some GST rates as far as the old and the used vehicles are concerned. What is your own sense of how should one be really looking at the auto space, since it continues to be in the first space that will be hit by any taxation changes?
Yes, actually, on a longer term perspective, we are quite bullish with respect to auto ancillary and OEMs are concerned. But there is a fundamental shift is taking place in terms of the auto space is concerned. Actually, there is a dichotomy among the buyers whether to go for EV or to the ICE engines are concerned. This kind of dichotomy is still there. EV infrastructure has to emerge in India. There can be the space in the auto space. EV infrastructure also one of the theme. The recent reports shows around $2 billion infrastructure spend is needed with respect to EV infrastructure is concerned, that is the one of the opportunity. While coming to the OEMs, it's going to be among the uh, uh, product portfolio who have the strong product portfolio, especially with respect to the uh, EV space is concerned, and also with respect to the strong SUV space who are the leaders. Those are the beneficiaries, like Mahindra and Mahindra ahead of this thing, and also the Hyundai Motors also in this race. Maruti, they had to launch with respect to their EV space is concerned. And Sakshi, we tend to come up the news. The auto numbers are coming down, but if you analyze the fundamental shift in Indian economy, that people are not going for the entry level cars. Earlier, it was the fact that India is dominated by the entry level cars. Now there is a shift in the rise in the disposable income, and also the fundamental shift in the consumer behavior. The first entry level car, the first time buyers itself, they are buying a SUV or they are buying a sedan class. So the auto numbers are expected to do well, and we had a very strong, I can say, very stringent and tightened monetary policy. If there can be one rate cut ahead of New Year, we can see some kind of strong rebound in the auto numbers. So on a longer term perspective, still in India, the roads infrastructure have been improving very well. The country is getting connected very well. The roads network have been getting connected every day. So there is a ample space for the auto space on a longer term basis. And also the per capita car usage in India is very low when compared to the Asian countries or compared to the Western countries. So there is a ample space for OEMs are concerned over a period of time. So investors on a long-term perspective, any kind of medium to short-term weakness in these numbers, nothing to worry. One can accumulate these OEMs in their portfolio. The numbers are, there is a difference. Okay, the consumer shift and accommodating the portfolio is greater challenge for the OEMs at this point of time.
9:52, ladies and gentlemen. What we will do now is mark lots of volume busters that are now coming up into the market, and let's start focusing from the fertilizer space for two reasons. One, they are high beta and low ticket items, and a lot of momentum is now getting into this space. Let's look at RCF. This is the second highest volume buster, and the counter is up very strongly, 5.9% higher, 186, and 2 times the 5-day volume is traded. Already 70 lakh shares are what is there, I can see on the screen. And look at Chambal Fertilizers, 1% higher, 21 lakh shares traded, which is 1.3 times. GSFC 229, 5% higher, very strong move coming in. And of course you have GNFC and you have NFL. So these are the stocks where a lot of market action is getting concentrated. Let's get Kranti into the discussion. Kranti, anything in this market that catches your attention at the moment?
The infrastructure theme still looks very attractive to me, Shail. There are stock specific actions, stocks are there, like the AFCON looks very interesting to me at this point of time. The stock in this consolidation phase also, it could able to give good volumes at this point of time. Investors with a longer term horizon, one can buy these kind of stocks. And also the recent IPOs also looks very attractive to me with the corrections, like the Swiggy and kind of names. We have already witnessed some kind of upbeat momentum in these stocks. So infra and also some kind of stock specific themes we are looking at this point of time.
Okay, fertilizers all the way, just like how Shell has mentioned. Now you have RCF, Fact also moving in up and about in trade. So this is one space that you can continue to keep your focus on, viewers. Apart from this, let's also keep an eye out on the entire space, real estate sector, which is now further garnering some momentum, 1.2% higher now. You already have macro tech developers that's moving very, very sharply here, along with Oberoi Realty and Prestige Estates. That seems to be in the thick zone. Within the mid-cap space, let's actually get attention from Kranti as far as where is he focusing on. Suzlon is up by about 3% today. Jubilant Foodworks 1.2%. PB Fintech is pulling up now in trade, 2% higher. 197 Communication. Delivery is also up in trade. So in fact, you took the name of Swiggy, Kranti. What about the other new age tech space? Today again, PB Fintech, Paytm, Delivery, they're all up and about in trade. Anything beyond Zomato and Swiggy also that you're looking at positively in the new age tech space?
With respect to the new age tech space is concerned, what we have, the significant point to note is we have witnessed the sustainability and also the rally what we witnessed in Paytm. That's also a notable thing. At 250 rupees or 300 levels, our bottom of the Paytm, there was complete jittery, but once the stock at 800 level, the breakout took place, what we witnessed is a strong buying interest and brokerage upgrades in these companies. So the best time to buy these stocks when there was a greater pessimism, when there is a sustainability, that is the best time to buy these stocks. That's what we witnessed in Zomato's also. Once the stock got listed, the stock went into 130 levels, and from there onwards we have witnessed a U-turn for this stock. And from there, after touching the low of around 60 to 70 rupees, we have witnessed a multifold rally in these stocks. The best time to enter these stocks, Sakshi, to make a multifold return is when there is a greater pessimism in the stock. Right now, when this sector, right now these stocks are quite strong. There are complete positivity. So right now, what I can sense is in these stocks, when there is a complete market inefficiency, that is the best time to buy in these stocks. Otherwise, we can get a mediocre kind of returns in these stocks at this point of time.
$9.57. Actually, let's just start wrapping up the market. So it's been a flat to weak trade, as we've been pointing out in our pre-open market commentary. Everybody in the market globally is risk off ahead of the US Federal rate meet that begins today, ends tomorrow night, and we will be reacting on Thursday, which is the weekly expiry of the Nifty. Also the fact that a 25 basis point rate cut is expected, and that should work for the benefit of at least IT companies. Apart from that, heavy interest is there in cash counters which are focused on the budget, and therefore you see a strong move coming into fertilizer stocks, railways in top form, you have defense doing pretty well, and some parts of the banking space. So a risk off trade, but cash doing extremely well. Focus on mid caps and small caps in the cash market. Sakshi.
Right. Okay, 141 points now lower. We are dragging lower in trade. We'll see as to how does this really progress from here on. Kranti, we will thank you on that note for being with us in the morning edition to help us navigate through the morning moves. All right, and we'll start to wrap up the morning trade now for all of you viewers. As far as the Nifty is concerned, 0.6% of a fall now, 24,525. We'll see if the 24,500 continues to be held on to, and do we actually progress further to 24,600. We were able to protect that as of yesterday. Clearly, the defense focus stocks are in the move. You have fertilizers now picking up along with railways and defense stories. You have the real estate stocks which are in sharp momentum. Broader markets continuing to show resilience. Pharma stocks, some of them are buzzing in trade. What's dragging lower today? Financial services, 0.7% lower. Private banks, 0.6% lower. You also have infra, and oil and gas stocks also lower in trade. The Nifty Bank itself is down by 0.6%, dragged by all the three constituents. Then you also have autos, metals falling back in trade today. Then you have top stocks on the Nifty are Cipla, 1.7% higher. Tata Motors, 790. We'll see whether this manages to pull up above 800 soon. Adani Ports, BEL, Tech Mahindra and Adani Enterprises as the ones which are hovering higher. Shriram Finance, however, is down by 3%. Bajaj Finserv is down in trade, nearly 2%. Reliance Industries is down by 1.2%. Bharti Airtel is down by 1.2%. Grasim is down in trade. So all of these heavyweight counters are actually exerting some pressure. In the F&O space, you have PVR Inox, as was marked by Shell, 4% higher. Macrotech, Delivery, United Spirits, these are the pockets that are buzzing. On the downside, you have Shriram Transport Finance, Cholamandalam, L&T Finance, all the three of them down in trade in the F&O pack. PSU space, overall it's down as in index, but some certain pockets like, the power financiers, power related stocks, they are actually hovering higher in trade. We are inching closer to 24,500 mark. Let's see whether that is able to be sustained on the markets going forward from here. With that, we wrap up the morning edition, viewers. Thanks from both Shell and me, but do stay tuned. We will continue to bring you all the action on the large street along with top conversations from the best of market voices throughout the course of the day. Stay tuned.
OpenAI has just dropped another bomb a couple of years after changing the AI world with ChatGPT. This one's called Sora. Sora is OpenAI's text-to-video generation tool. It was announced months ago, but it